And here we are. We were just arguing over Shedeur Sanders at 21 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let's do it again.
Shit makes no sense, dog. It's like, so I get a report maybe about a week ago. Tomlin loves Shedeur. 5 days later, Pittsburgh Steelers visit with Shedeur Sanders went poorly. Insider says that meeting did not go well. Literally 2 days later, Bleacher Report puts out, Steelers reportedly have some love for Shedeur Sanders, and they have a first-round grade on fucking Jackson Dart. Like, what are we doing here, dude? The Steelers are in absolute hell. I could not imagine being a Steelers fan.
The ball is on the 25, and it is 1st and 10. Welcome back to the show. I'm your co-host, Cade. That is your beautiful co-host, Metro. And today, we're doing our final predictive mock draft. The NFL draft is this Thursday, and I'll let Metro speak for himself, but I'm personally fired up. How you doing, How you doing today, Metro?
Doing fantastic. We are, 3 days away from the NFL draft? And
we're here.
Things are spicing up right now. It feels like the couple picks are set in stone, but there's a lot of unknowns we still have to unravel. So one round with some trades. We have a couple trades already kind of lined up, but as we go down the board, we're going to have some fun things to talk about. So if you're ready, let's hop into it.
Without further ado, let's get it started. And like I said, guys, today we are predicting what will actually happen on draft day. Of course, a little bit of fun. We're not going to be stale about it. But let's get this thing going. And then, Metro, I think we just make this like a full-on conversation if we're trying to be right rather than take picks. Is that cool with you?
Works for me.
Awesome. First overall, we aligned here on QB Cam Ward.
I mean, I might consider Jackson Dart here, but
okay.
And Tyler Shock as well also makes a ton of sense because, I mean, his combine performance was incredible.
Turn off the show.
Yeah, we'll do Cam Ward. It's the right pick. It is also the pick they're going to ultimately take. So it just makes so much sense.
Awesome. No more to explain. We know what we're doing here.
Yeah.
2, this is where it gets kind of fun. I personally lean Travis Hunter. I feel like you do too. It applies to 2 of their positions of need, and also he's going to sell a lot of jerseys, and I think Cleveland cares about more than that than winning. I'm not saying there's a wrong pick here between him and Abdul Carter. It's a win-win. One applies to more of a need. What do you think, Metro?
Yeah, if it's between Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter, I think you have to take Travis Hunter. Although I know that they love Abdul Carter, it makes a lot of sense to pair him up with Myles Garrett. I think that, I mean, it would create one of the nastiest duos in the entire NFL, especially with the skill sets that both those guys have. But, yeah, you got to take Travis Hunter. I think it's more than just getting one position figured out. He fixes 2, both corner, receiver. I do think he'll play more receiver than corner at the NFL level. I mean, obviously, it depends on what team takes him, but I think specifically for the Browns, they would probably utilize him more as a receiver. But I think in certain packages, he can also play in corner. So I have no issue with the pick. I would also take Travis Hunter here.
Awesome. Sounds great. Then let's punch this through. Here we go. Travis Hunter at number 2. Number 3, we have the New York Giants. And this is the big kerfluffle that no one can seem to get a grip on. But we have a solution, Metro and I, and we're going to have a trade that you probably haven't seen before. All the way from 3. Where are we going, Metro? We're going down to number 11. Is that correct?
Yep, we're going to the West Coast, down there
all the way
near the Bay of San Francisco. Just makes a lot of sense. We did consider Carolina, but Carolina doesn't seem too eager to trade up right now. And just of the teams that are from after 3 to relatively high picks, like top 10, top 11, there just wasn't a team that made a ton of sense. San Francisco was the one team that I have heard wants to trade up, and they are looking to make a play here. So, I mean, what's a bigger play this offseason than taking Abdul Carter? I think it also makes sense for the Giants to want to trade down because Abdul Carter, I mean, you don't really get much of a difference between Burns and Abdul Carter. Even if you do go move off of Kayvon Thibodeau, it just wouldn't make a lot of sense. So I think getting a trade done would be a smart thing for them to do. And, you know, worst case scenario at pick 11, if the board doesn't fall a certain way, they just take a quarterback.
Totally. That's completely right. It's an absolute win-win for both teams. And I think we kind of discussed where we want this to be. With not the Niners, but the Giants knowing you win by Thanksgiving or you're getting fired, right?
Yeah.
They're definitely going to want 43 because early capital is everything. And then this is a pretty big jump, so probably another second next year. Does that sound good to you, Metro, or do you want to change it up?
It's either 11 in a round 1 for 2026 or 11:43 in round 2. But I like the way you put it with the fact that this is a team that needs to kind of play with some desperation, at least not necessarily team, but coaching staff.
Yes.
And if I'm the owner, if I'm the coaching staff, I'm the GM, I want to get as many picks to work with this year. So, I mean, if you get a second, yeah, let's just take the entire draft over here. So, I mean, if you are the Giants, 11, you move back a few spots, you could take either a quarterback or something if need. You get an additional second-round pick to fix up, I don't know, offensive line, maybe a tight end, and then you get a second-round pick next year too to build up your future. So I just think it's the right move here. So let's punch it through.
Awesome. Let's go. And then with that being said, the Niners are on the clock, and you got Bosa and Abdul Carter.
Oh, man.
Well, that'd be fun. I think we're going to go with Dart here because we are going to have, our man on the move, Purdy.
Yeah, Brock Purdy might get traded, so let's take Jackson Dart here. Why not?
No. But with that being said, Abdul Carter is an electric pass rusher. So much production, 13 sacks, 43 hurries. This guy was a monster off the edge, but you know this by now. There's either like people that are just now stepping into the draft atmosphere and they're like, who are these people? And they're like more lighthearted fans, or there's fans that have been at this for 4 months like we have, and you're like, okay, I know who this guy is at this point. With that being said, here's a 2-second synopsis. The dude's damn good, and pairing up with Bosa is going to be a problem. So we'll take him here to the Niners at 3 overall. And here we are, 4 with the Patriots, but Metro, you had to say something. Going ahead.
Yeah, I was going to go back to the Niners. I mean, you look at their other pass rushers, it's Nick Bosa, and then he's like up here, and then it's like it just gets worse and worse and worse because after him it's Yetur Gross-Matos, Kevin Givens, Jordan Elliott, Robert Beal, Drake Jackson, Sam. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I mean, listen, I'm sure 1 or 2 of these guys will be decent players, but they need a difference maker, and Abdul Carter is that difference maker. So it's a clear pick for me here.
Totally. And as we also kind of talked about, this window is closing for the Niners. They got older players like, Kittle, Williams. Someday, the tread will not be on the tires, and it could be here already. But if we want to win, let's make a shot now and make it happen. So there goes Abdul Carter to the Niners at 3 overall. Anything else there, Metro? You want to go to 4?
No, I think the 4th is also a pretty clear pick as well. It's got to be a lineman. And if you're picking between Membu and Will Campbell, if you look right now at the offensive line for the Patriots, it's not very good. They haven't really addressed it too much in the offseason. They still have Vidarian Lowe set to be a starter. You brought in Morgan Moses to play right tackle. That's cool. Obviously, Mike Onwenu. You brought in Garrett Bradbury, who you can upgrade there, but at least you get somebody with some experience. Obviously, Cole Strange as well will probably play somewhere in the interior. So, yeah, you got to find an upgrade. I think they would take Will Campbell and keep him as a tackle and sort of see how that works. But worst case scenario, you just move him inside to play guard. So I think it's a clear pick.
I think so too. This is kind of one I pushed back on with Membu, but like you said, they have Moses, the right tackle. He's not an all-star by any means, but there's no point in doubling down there. So let's go Will Campbell. He's just a Patriot, man. The name Will Campbell, he feels like a Patriot. So I'm going to take him right here to the Niners. And we'll keep it going. Now 5, Metro. We've cooked another trade up. Probably one that hasn't been done before as well. 5 and 10, there's one outlier here. When you trade, you try to jump a team ahead of you, correct, and you pay a pretty penny for it. What is the unanimous pick for 6 that we feel unanimous about? It is Ashton Jeanty. We've even heard rumors that he goes at 5 here to the Jags. With that being said, we have a team in mind. Metro, who is that team we think is going to trade up here to 5 overall?
It is going to be the Chicago Bears, who are going to be looking to get a massive upgrade in the running back room. You're bringing in Ben Johnson, who made the move for Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously David Montgomery. Ashton Jeanty is by far the best running back in this class. And so if you are the Bears, yes, you could sit at number 10 and then maybe pray to God that he falls to you. It's probably not going to happen. So if you're the Bears and you want to make sure that you get this guy, you trade out for him and you just say, hell, we're going to put together this fantastic offensive line and have him paired up with Ashton freaking Jeanty. So it's just the right pick. And then for Jacksonville's side of things, I think they're in a spot where there's a lot of players on the board you feel okay with that will probably still be available at 10. You can take a Tet McMillan if he falls there. Maybe Mason Graham falls there. Probably not, but maybe. Maybe a corner like Jade or Will Johnson. Little questionable there. And obviously, of course, Tyler Warren might be in play there. Of course, another offensive lineman also. So I think both sides, it makes a lot of sense to mutually agree on a trade.
Awesome. With that being said, what we had in mind for the Bears is they have 2 second-round picks, which is just beautiful, and that's what really makes them a trade-up candidate in our eyes. 41, and as I'm thinking about it, it is 5 picks in the top 5. Probably like, I don't know. I'm thinking more realistically like a third, but that seems too pricey here for having a mock draft. So maybe like a 5th. Is that cool with you, Metro?
Yeah, that works for me. At the end of the day, these trades, we're just kind of putting together an idea. It's not anything set in stone, so just take that as you will. So yeah, let's run this.
Metro, how much NFL experience do we have combined together?
0.
So
0.
So take everything we say with a grain of salt.
We got some high school experience. We have a little walk on in college, so you know a little bit. I've been watching
trades.
NFL my whole life. I know a little bit about how some things work, but by no means are either of us experts. So we are just formulating what we think. Again, it's hard to do, but we're just trying our best.
That's right. And we're having fun out here. Ashton Jeanty, like you said, best running back, 1,900, almost 2K yards after contact. Ever heard of CJ 2K? This guy was my 2K after contact. Insane. Phenomenal running back. You know about him by now. The Bears and Ben Johnson getting this kind of player is you play fantasy football out there, he better be 101 in all drafts. He's a rookie, don't really care. He's going to be a Chicago Bear. Here we are at 6, Raiders on the clock, and they are just not just pissed, they're livid because they wanted Jeanty bad. Pete Carroll wants to run the football, and he's like, we should have traded up to 4 with the Patriots, but that's all right. They're probably willing to trade down, but you got to adjust now on the fly. What do we want to do here? I think there's one player in my eyes, Metro, in Mason Graham, that is just a really good interior presence. He's really good in the run game. Pass rush, he provides some things. He's not the full package like any Abdul Carter by any means, but he's a really stout run defender, and he's definitely going to bolster this D-line and make it really nasty. Him and Crosby will be a problem. What are your thoughts, though? Anybody else here that's sticking out to you?
I'm taking Mason Graham here. I know that maybe you could consider Ted McMillan here. I would definitely consider it, but I think there's a bigger need with Mason Graham, right? And now I've heard some people who I really respect within, the NFL analysis industry, people with a lot of credentials who are not very high on Mason Graham. I don't understand it. I've personally have always thought of Mason Graham as a top 6-ish player in this year's draft class, but there are some genuine concerns about his size. You put him in a situation next to Christian Wilkins, it makes his life so much easier. And, you're putting together this defensive line of Mason Graham, Christian Wilkins, Max Crosby. It's just disgusting. So even if you're not extremely high on Mason Graham, as in you're not extremely high on him being the only good defensive tackle in your team, you're pairing him with Christian Wilkins. So I just think it makes a lot of sense. And obviously, Jeanty would be ideal there, but I would assume that if Genty's off the board, it's either going to be Mason Graham or even maybe an Armand Membu because I don't know how they feel about DJ Glaze. So, but we'll take Mason Graham here. It just makes the most sense.
Awesome. Good stuff. We're here at 7, Jets on the clock. And the Jets, as time has gone on, this is Aaron Glenn's team. Aaron Glenn, I know it wasn't his team when he was in the Lions. When you look back to the Lions, I'm a Lions fan, so I just have this previous experience. They went trenches 3 times in a row in their first draft. They got Penei Sewell, they got Onwuzurike, and then they got Aleem McNeil in the 3rd round. I think it doesn't change here. I think they know they have time. They signed Fields to a 2-year contract and don't plan on mixing it up with a Shedeur Sanders in the building. That just doesn't make sense to me. Why are you risking everything when you have security for at least a year? So while you have security, take a great pick and build the trenches. That's where I'm leaning O-line for sure, and they could use an awesome O-lineman. My favorite O-lineman in Armand Membu had a perfect season essentially and just a great combine. He's got plenty of length. Yeah, he's not 6'6" with like a 36-inch arm, but the guy can get it done. He's a really good right tackle. Also want to hear your thoughts, Metro, of course. What pick do you think the Jets should go with right here?
If this was me, I would take Ted McMillan, but I have heard no connections there between McMillan and the Jets. So it comes down to between Tyler Warren and the offense tackle and Armand Membu. Clearly, tackle is a bit more of a premier position than the tight end. And I also just think that in terms of importance to an offense, tackle is way more important. So, yeah, you feel good about your future at left tackle. Now secure your right tackle in the future. And if you're Aaron Glenn, you feel really solid about your offensive line for the foreseeable future. So I think just lock it in here, and I think maybe in the 2nd or 3rd round you look at receiver. So I like it.
Awesome. And like you said, I can find a receiver in the 2nd or 3rd round. I can't find an awesome right tackle like this. So Let's take him right here. Good stuff right here for the Jets. And then Panthers. Metro is my Adam Schefter, right? And he's been giving me rumors in my earpiece that the Panthers have been wanting to move back. Now, the question is, who would trade ahead of the Saints? Because potential candidates they could be eyeing, Shador Sanders, maybe. That's a maybe, right? You could talk about Tedero McMillan for sure. They could be eyeing him at 9 overall. That is a real possibility. We could have said Genty, but he's going to be long gone. And then the DB, I don't know if you trade up for Jahdae Barron to get ahead of someone to get Jahdae Barron. I think he's a really good player, just not trade up strong worthy, if that makes sense. But Tedero McMillan feels like it could tilt the scale and make a team make a move. What do you think in Metro? Who do you want to possibly make the move here up to 8?
I know we didn't talk about this beforehand, but I also think that whatever team, they could also trade up for Tyler Warren too.
Ooh, that's totally true.
But I mean, scroll down just a few spots here on the teams. If you look here at all the teams, there's only a handful of teams that I would think would seriously consider trading up. I don't think Dallas would. I don't think Miami would. The Colts would consider, but I don't think they would for Ted McMillan or Tyler Warren. Falcons probably not. So I think of the names here, I think we're talking about the Jaguars, who are just 2 spots behind, but they might want to secure one of Warren or Ted McMillan to make sure that the Saints nor the Panthers take one of those guys. So it would also not be too pricey either.
No, not at all. It's only 2 picks. Now, in our mock, because we played a couple of these out, we did go Tedero McMillan. Do we want to mix it up and go with a tight end, like you said, and Tyler Warren?
I think they would think about it. I mean, Liam Cohen would make some sense for him to want to go with Tyler Warren because they're starting tight end.
BTJ.
Yeah, BTJ. I mean, outside of him, it's a little rough.
It's pretty bad.
I mean,
he'd be a good pair with BTJ. I can't lie.
Both outside of BTJ, you got Gabe Davis, Donnelly Brown, okay, Parker Washington, who there's some good moments last year, but tight end wise, you have Brenton Strange, who I guess you feel okay about. 2023 at 400 yards this most recent year. I think it's a coin toss. Who's higher on your big board, Warren or McMillan?
Warren for sure.
Okay, this is funny because mine would be McMillan. So
okay, cool.
I say let's just do a good old fashioned coin toss.
That's exactly what I was thinking, and I was going to pull it up. But yeah.
I have it loaded here. I'll let you call it. Heads or tails?
Okay. I'll call it in the air.
Well, heads. Well, actually, we should do this way. What are we talking about? Heads, Ted McMillan. Tails, Tyler Warren.
That is perfect.
All right.
Drum roll, please.
Tails. We're taking Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren
to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It makes a lot of sense. You want to talk about somebody who can create an identity on an offense? Like Tyler Warren could very well become the identity. Also wouldn't cost much. We're talking 10, one of 107 or 126, one of those two.
Yeah. Let's throw him 107. Call that good?
Yeah, let's call it. And then, man, Jacksonville, they came out pretty nice here. They got a premier tight end. They got more capital. Sure, it's not Ted McMillan. Again, we also consider McMillan here, too. If you guys prefer McMillan, then that's totally fine. But
just imagine it.
Hey, yeah, imagine it, right? 50-50 coin toss. They wanted Tyler Warren, so we're taking Tyler Warren.
They've spoken. Anything else here, Nate, before we move forward?
No, let's move forward.
I love that we're having, we're trying to predict this, and we're having coin flips.
I know. I was literally just thinking, I was like, well, we should be. I probably should have looked this up, but sorry, guys. Tyler Warren's the pick here. It could be Ted McMillan. Just if you prefer McMillan, just pretend it was, and then we'll just keep pushing.
We're also going to have fun here. Saints are on the clock, and the Saints are, like I mentioned a second ago, I don't think they take Shador Sanders. Personally,
no.
I heard he's got the highest odds on sports books. Apparently, just because
I've heard that too. But I've also heard they're not planning on taking Shador. So I'm of the mindset that Shador's falling out of the top 15.
Me too, brother. I'm right there with you. Don't mean to spoil anything, but
yeah, I say we pass on Shador here.
Cool. With that being said, I think now that because last time we had Tedero McMillan go to Jacksonville. Now we were thinking maybe a Mike Green, maybe even something crazy down here with Shamar Stewart, or you got options, maybe even a Walter Nolan. With that being said, Tedero McMillan's here now. Him and Olave kind of yin and yang and pair really well. Want to hear
me
your
see.
thoughts though, because now we're in uncharted territory, guys. This is off the dome. Now we're like actually in the drive. We're not actually in the draft. We're doing it live.
So the Saints, they did host him in one of their 40 visits. However, they did take a private jet to see Jalen Walker and Michael Williams.
Money talks.
I feel like if you're sending a private jet out there, you're going to consider one of Michael or Jalen Walker. We're both higher on Walker than Michael, but it feels like the NFL is a lot higher on Michael, at least in terms of where we are with them. What would you take? I mean, I feel like they would take Jalen Walker here.
Me
It
too,
just
brother.
makes more sense. I'm a lot higher on Jalen Walker. It's just I could see the Saints taking Michael because he kind of fits their mold really nicely. I don't know if Jalen Walker fits their mold.
It's a good point. Michael does fit. And when you look back at history, this is going to bother me, who was the UTSA guy that the Saints took at like 15 a couple years ago? And he had the mold and he was an upside play.
Oh, it was
Davenport?
Peyton Turner. Yeah, Davenport. Yeah.
Davenport. Obviously different players, but kind of the same archetype of you see a ceiling that you want to hit there, and there's upside. Like we mentioned, they like bigger edges. I don't know what they're going to do with Jalen Walker, who's 6'2", and yeah, he's a speedster, and he's also pretty damn strong, can make some noise off the edge. But Michael fits the mold better, like a Michael Shamar Stewart. That fits their culture and scheme better. And if you're picking at 9, I don't think you take somebody who. But money talks at the end of the day.
Yeah,
I guess they were both in the workout.
I'm seeing like they're eyeing both those guys. So if they're in a situation where I think if Jalen Walker were to not go to the Panthers at 8, I think the Saints would take Michael. But because Jalen Walker's available, I think we just lock in Jalen Walker here. Let's just because it's literally I'm seeing Jalen Walker's getting attention here. Michael Williams they're interested in. I'm like, I don't know. It could go either way. It feels like though it's going to be one of the two Giants. Do you have something you want to say?
I do. I want to flip
ahead.
a coin one more time.
let's run a coin toss here. It's
Just one more. We got to
right.
stop bailing out. But they flew out on a jet to see both these guys. Okay,
right.
I think it's only right.
Tails, Michael Williams, heads, Jalen Walker.
I'm ready.
It's tails. We're taking Michael Williams.
We're taking. Honestly, it fits it better anyways. So let's take Michael.
Hey, very high upside player. I don't know if I
Yeah.
would take him top 10, but I think there's a lot of juice to him still. He's still also only 20 years old, so there's a lot left to uncover there. But yeah, and this kind of sets us up nicely here. It kind of just lays it out very nicely. We're taking Jalen Walker right afterwards. So I mean, you agree the Panthers would take Jalen Walker? It feels like that's kind of the consensus.
Maybe Tetaroa at 10, but you wouldn't trade back if you felt some kind of way about Tetaroa, I guess.
Let me see if they've set up a visit with him because I've heard.
I got Adam Schefter in my ear. This is wonderful. He's just doing all the
know.
research for me. Guy in the chair.
Yeah. Reporter doesn't think Panthers will use 8th overall pick on a pass catcher.
And they wouldn't trade back if they loved him, right? They would just take him.
They did visit with him, but
I don't trust that.
I say that, but then I see another one. Panthers reportedly intrigued by Arizona receiver Ted McMillan.
Get a grip, y'all. Get a grip.
Let's lock in with Jalen Walker. It feels like that's going to be the pick here. Either even if that pick 8 or if they trade down, because the reason why we did trade down is they want to trade down. Like it seems consensus that they want to move down, and I think they're in a situation where they don't think Jalen Walker's worth the 8th overall pick, but if they trade down 2-3 spots, they'd be fine taking him. So let's just lock it in here. He'd be such a fun piece on this defense, just creating so much havoc, whether off the edge or off-ball linebacker. It'd just be disgusting.
Great move, and the Panthers are cooking. With that being said, 11, this is where it gets real fun. Giants in the clock at 11. Now, I know we mentioned, Metro, that we'd be damned if we took a Shedeur Sanders top 15, but at 11, with the Giants sitting here, now they have extra capital. They have 11, they have 34, they have 43, 65, and 99. That's 5 picks for those that can't count. 6 picks in the top 105. That's actually really good, especially in a draft like this year's with a bunch of depth in those top 150 players. So maybe we're feeling better. Maybe we feel like we should take a quarterback in a round 2 and just punt there and take a really good player here. What are you thinking? We got so many options here at 11.
I was going to say, I don't think they'll take quarterback. They did have some private workouts with him, but from what I'm reading, it doesn't seem like they are like set in stone with Shedeur. So I think they'll pass on him. I don't know who's going to be the pick here though at pick 11. Who's the tackles on the board?
Tackles. This is where, if you're thinking they got to score points, right, Metro? Because if they don't score points by Thanksgiving, they're canned. They're all fired. With that being said, Josh Simmons played right tackle his freshman year. In a pinch, he could do that. I know Andrew Thomas has been awesome at left, but he gets hurt all the time. Calvin Banks is left, and people argue he's a guard. Honestly, I haven't done enough research to know that or not. You're just scratching your face. Do you feel some kind of way about that, what I just said?
I think Kelvin Banks would be a fun pick. I don't understand why people say he's a guard. I think he's a tackle.
I agree.
I do think he can play guard. I think he's a tackle. And so whenever I see people like, oh, put him inside to play guard, I'm like, he could play left tackle, guys. Just give him a shot. Like, he was with Texas for 3 years. He was killer out there. But I get it. I understand.
Is there, with the Giants, are we doing too much for the Giants to trade back again?
No.
Does someone love Tedro McMillan want to block out the Cowboys? Because that's a realistic thing. The Cowboys, I feel like, are definitely going to take Tet here next.
Yeah, if he falls. I'm thinking Walter Nolan. Like, that's who I would take.
That's what I'm leaning towards, too, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's either that or Kenneth Grant. I can't remember exactly who's on my big board. I don't have it pulled up, but I would be fine either way. I think Walter Nolan's the higher upside player. I think Kenneth Grant is a safer option. But you put Walter Nolan next to Dexter Lawrence, like that would just be kind of filthy. So
it would be disgusting.
I mean, there was already conversation about Abdul Carter being a Giant. I mean, shoot, let's take Walter Nolan here. It's like his upside is, I think, just as high as Abdul Carter. Again, upside, he has a lot of work to be done.
Upside, correct.
But again, you put him in a situation where he gets to play opposite of Dexter and Kayvon and Brian Burns. Like, it would be pretty difficult for him not to succeed there. So I say we lock in Walter Nolan. I know they need probably more offensive help, but
I just think the value's too good. Maybe you're like, you pair Tet with Neighbors, but I don't know,
Slayton,
man.
You just brought him back.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Banks. I would if you said Banks, I have no issue with it. Josh Simmons, if healthy, I think would be the pick. If healthy, but not healthy.
That's right.
So, I think
let's go Walter. I think it's the right
I say
pick.
We go Walter. Yeah, let's go Walter.
The upside's too good. Let's punch this through.
And then, kind of like Carolina, this is you run this pick in. You're taking Tet McMillan for Dallas. Like,
hell yeah, brother!
So disgusting. Like CeeDee Lamb next to Tet McMillan. Filthy with Jake Ferguson and. Hey, here's the kicker. Miles Sanders at running back. Let's go.
Let's effing go.
No, they're drafting a running back. They're drafting a running back. I'm hoping for Damian Martinez in round 3 or 4. That'd be more ideal. But
you can get him in 4. I promise you.
Yeah. McMillan. Let's take McMillan.
Let's go. McMillan goes to the Cowboys, and they're sealing headlines, so Jerry's happy and selling jerseys. 13, this is
I'm buying one, by the way. I'm buying one.
How do you not? If
McMillan gets picked, and if he wears, what number would fit him nicely? 11. Good old 11.
Wow, 11's beautiful.
If he wears 11, I'm buying it instantly.
That's too good. At 13, I feel like Tua doesn't want to be on the ground for the rest of his career. And you got a guy like Kelvin Banks or even Josh Simmons. Now, Josh Simmons got hurt, so Kelvin Banks feels like a good play here. I heard rumors from, like you said, Metro, we have shows we like to watch, and I hear people say that he's got potential. We don't know him like that. Seems like a good guy. I assume him do like barbecue reviews. Seems super chill. Apparently he's got attitude issues.
Who, Josh Simmons?
Kelvin Banks Jr. apparently.
Oh, no. Who said that? Who said that?
I'm not gonna throw somebody's name in the dirt. Okay, I can't do it. But I don't see it.
They should be off the internet. Frankly, they should be off the internet. That's blasphemous.
I agree with you.
I am an avid follower of Texas, and I've heard nothing but love for this guy. This guy was a 3-year starter. I don't know where you heard this from. Whoever said that, they're a moron. They should. I'm probably disrespected like Mel Kiper or somebody. Whoever they are, they're an idiot. He is not a head case. A head case would be like James Pierce Jr. This dude is not a head case, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you. You would know. Thank you. You're my Adam Schefter. You're my source. Are you game to Kelvin Banks here and have Tua not have CT for a year?
I don't. Can I be honest with you? I don't know if they would take offensive tackle.
Which I find crazy, but it's on brand.
Because I know they said they're interested in taking linemen this year, and I definitely do think it's in consideration. But I look at it, I mean, you took Patrick Paul last year. Do you think that they would just say, bad pick, we're not going to play him next year? I don't think they would. And so James Daniels at right guard you feel okay about. Maybe you feel okay about Eichenberg and Brewer. You probably want to find upgrades later in the draft. You're not benching Austin Jackson. Can I throw something out there?
Please, I'm all ears.
I would take Malachi Starks, but again, let's trust the process here. Who have they visited? Have they
We
visited
are
Malachi
predicting.
Starks?
We are predicting. You're right. It's so obvious. It's probably not going to happen. I don't see how your quarterback keeps dying, and you just want to get back in the ring.
It says Dolphins high on safety Malachi Starks.
You could trade back for Starks, but now I think we're at a trade up category. We're out of trade up territory, unless it's for a quarterback, and you're not blocking out the Colts for a quarterback. They got two awesome quarterbacks in the roster right now.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of. Now, this is from a few weeks ago. I'm seeing a lot of Malachi Starks to the Dolphins. Let me see if I'm hearing anything about Kelvin Banks real quickly.
Okay.
Kelvin Banks.
Sources say, big if true.
I'm not seeing anything.
Yabby-yabby-yo. Nothing.
I'm not seeing anything.
Nothing. Quiet. It's so. Okay. This is like when you
I'm
back.
seeing a lot of people say, "Hey, take Kelvin Banks," but I'm not seeing anything about them wanting him.
It's just it feels so obvious, but it's the Dolphins, and that's no disrespect to Dolphins fans. It's a disrespect to the front office. It's the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I would take. I mean, dude, their safeties are terrible. They're bad,
Okay.
and their whole secondary sucks. By the way, it's just bad.
Okay.
Especially if Ramsey gets traded, which, I mean, we could explore a trade here as well for Jalen Ramsey, but that's probably not going to happen. That's probably more of a third-round pick for Ramsey at this point.
Yeah.
And if Will Johnson had been healthy and had a good 40, I think he'd be the pick here. But I'm going to say Malachi Starks. I think that's what they would do here. I don't think they would take Kelvin Banks.
Okay, Metro, I trust your gut. You're a smart man, and you have your sources. So let's do Malachi Starks. And I also love Malachi Starks, by the way. He's like in my top 15. He's a dope player. So let's take him right here to the Dolphins, and Tua will continue to be punished. At 14, we have the Colts, and Tyler Warren is gone, so they're scratching their head and a little bit confused. And also, Malachi Starks is gone too, and they're going, what the hell are we supposed to do now? Lucky for you.
I have a very. Are you go ahead? Finish your statement here, because I know who the pick's going to be.
The pick is going to be, if I can guess, Metro's 5th overall player on his
Yes,
big
sir.
board,
Jahad Campbell. I've heard a lot of people saying that Jahad Campbell's going to be the pick here.
Okay. I like it.
And like he said, he's my 5th player in this year's draft. I effing love Jahad Campbell. And this defense, you lose EJ Speed. Hey, you want to find a good replacement? And this is not just what I would do. I would also take Jahad. I've heard that this is very possible.
Okay, that's a tipping point. Metro is an elite scouter. We know the talent's right. We've also heard from sources that the Colts are interested. Let's take him right here, and you want to pat our hands, keep moving?
If I'm the Colts, I'm running. I'm sprinting my ass off. I'm hustling to get that pick in.
Jahad Campbell is officially a Colt at 14. And 15, we have the Falcons.
I have another inside note here, buddy.
Cook, Metro, you're firing me up. You know what? Take the wheel for the next 2 picks. I'm loving this. Give me the insights.
It's Mike Green, bud. It's Mike Green. I've heard that they effing love this dude. They've done so many visits with him. They've done private workouts. They're like the Saints with Michael and Jalen Walker. They're taking the private jet out to see Mike Green. They're like, oh, you have character issues? Don't worry. We'll throw it under the rug for you. We'll do anything for you, Mike.
Come on over, Mike. We're all about it. Oh,
yeah,
man.
even if, okay, I don't know 100% they're going to take Mike Green, but I would feel very, very confident that if he's available, this would be the pick. So
Mike Green, all the character stuff aside, I know it's very important when you scout, especially in the NFL, but you got to win. And I don't know, guys, for reference, I don't know what he did. Condolences to whoever was harmed, and it's not why I'm looking at him as a football player. When you just look at the field, 17 sacks, 32 hurries. This guy's a sack machine. He knows what he's doing out there. He's got a plan A, plan B, and a plan C. All the moves, the clubs, the spins, the rips, you get the point. This guy can do whatever you need. I love Mike Green, and he is an awesome, awesome edge rusher. You want to take him right here? Because you got sources on it, Metro.
Any of the off-the-field issues, I haven't heard too many updates on. Of course,
okay.
I hopefully we'll get more clarity on the situation. Maybe there is something out there that I'm unaware of. But, of course, if it's legit, then I don't think he should go top 15, right?
Totally
if it's legit, then I don't
agree.
think he should be drafted, frankly, because that's, from
horrible.
what I heard, it was pretty horrible stuff. But we don't know anything about it. We're going to assume that everything will get settled and everything will be okay. So I think Mike Green to the Falcons, I mean, man, they could really use a pass rusher like him with his juice. So yeah, we'll take Mike Green here.
Awesome. Metro, real quick, I just want to say we're cooking. 16, we got the Cardinals. And the Cardinals, they got cornerback galore. I think they're really just going to take their pick of the poison here. Unless you feel differently. I will say, throughout these mock drafts, when I go into the second round, I find a lot more corners that I'm happy with taking than I thought I would. So if you want to go a different direction, I'm not opposed. You got guys like Benjamin Morrison, who's got hip issues. I think he got cleared, not confirmed. Tramos is dope. Maxwell Harrison had an awesome combine and a pretty good year. Savon Ravel, of course, is fantastic. Zaire Thomas apparently had a slow 40 time. I don't really give two shits. This guy is an awesome young player. But that being said, Metro, I like the corners on the board, but this is a collaborative effort. We're trying to predict this to a T, so we don't have a lot of shots to take on draft day. What are you thinking right here?
Yeah, there's a lot of – looks like they might consider corner. I also think we should also consider Kenneth Grant here too. I know they brought in Calais and Dalvin Tomlinson, but they could really use somebody underneath them while also, of course, getting a lot of playing time too, who could step in instantly, be a high-impact player. I'm not really seeing anything that would say that it's like set in stone, but I am seeing Will Johnson's in contention here, Kenneth Grant, and Jahdae Barron. So who would you go in this situation? Who's higher on your big board?
Best player in my eyes is Jahdae Barron, but I also understand the need for a Kenneth Grant.
Interesting.
It's hard to find players like that.
I would go, gosh, man, Will Johnson running a 4.5, 4.6 would kill her, dude. Because I don't know if Jahdae Barron would fit them too much.
Exactly. That's the issue.
You could also consider Kelvin Banks here too.
You could.
I would go safe here and take Kenneth Grant. Let's just play it safe.
Okay. Safe is always good, especially when you're trying to predict.
Yeah. I feel like it's a pretty safe bet. He can play all over the defensive line within the interior. Calais Campbell's, understudy, be great for him because he still needs to develop a little bit.
Totally. And guys, we're at 17. Real quick, yes, we have this fantastic channel, but we also make our own content. Go check out Metro Sports. He brings great NFL analysis down to the description below at Metro Sports. And then I bring NFL draft content at Cade Rathbone, NFL Draft with Cade Rathbone. Thank you guys for checking it out. Go sub down below. Appreciate you very much. And with that being said, the Bengals, we didn't forget about you. You're at 17. Let's make this pick. And I also want to review the board because at Metro, when I do mock drafts, at least alone, I go kind of nose blind. And guys slide down the board and I start to go, wow, I'm going to look pretty dumb. So let's do a quick review right here. We got guys that are sliding, usually farther than, in my opinion, that shouldn't be here. I like our mock draft, just to clarify. But Jahdae Barron, sliding a decent amount. Kelvin Banks Jr., I thought he'd go right now just because of the Dolphins, but he's kind of on his way. People don't draft tackles high in this draft, but I think he's going to go higher than most expect. And then Shamar Stewart is definitely in contention in these next couple picks. And those are my big callouts. I love Nick Gordon, but this is a predictive mock draft, not a what I would do mock draft. So those are my 3 or 4 callouts.
I think Gordon's definitely in play here too, by the way.
Okay, cool. If you're, I'm biased there, so I try to take the bias goggles off. I love Nick Gordon, young, awesome edge player.
Do you want to know what the NFL draft odds are? I don't know if this is updated.
Actually, please.
Colston Loveland.
To the Bengals?
To the Bengals.
But
I'm also seeing that positional values defensive line. This is from bookies.com. This is by Bill Sparrows. This was updated.
Let's take their money.
This was updated March 21st, so just about a month ago. Colston Loveland is the favorite, the betting odds here with a plus 500. Tyler Warren second with plus 575. Malachi Starks plus 600. Then Walter Nolan plus 600. And Micah Williams too at 800. Ugh.
Interesting.
I don't think Colston Loveland's a pick here at all. I don't think that makes any sense.
I'm completely aligned. Eric All had a pretty good season. Yes, I think he tore his ACL, but you still have promising things there. And they just signed Gesicki, right?
Yeah, you still have Mike Gesicki. That's like the last thing they need to do. They just re-signed T. Higgins. No shot they take Colston Loveland. Hey, it'd be fun. Colston Loveland, Higgins, Chase, and
fantasy
Andre.
team.
Woo, man, they'd be scoring 100 but giving up 200.
7-on-7 team. That's all they got.
Who's available in the interior defensive line right now?
Interior to go Gray
Omar
Zabel.
Defensive line.
Oh, so sorry, sir.
You're good.
Defensive line, just unacceptable over here. Defensive line, interior.
So we got to keep in mind they're going to run a 4-3. So I don't think
are.
James Pierce Jr., I don't think Donovan Izaraku are going to work. I don't see them taking Shamar Stewart just because I think he needs a ton of development. And I don't think they can afford to develop a guy for 2-3 years. So I am in favor of Nick Scorin here. Of course, you guys know me. I'm a Braden Swinson guy, but I don't think he goes first round. So
Braden
Swinson. We could go Derek Harmon, too.
We totally could. That's a realistic pick. I will say, when you say, just because I want to get in your head, when I look at 4-3 fronts versus 3-4 fronts, you said they're a 4-3, correct?
Yeah, they run a 4-3.
That's where I thought a guy like a little bit quicker, like, I'm not saying he'd go here. I don't think he'd go to the Bengals. But like James Pierce Jr., are you saying like...
I just think I don't see him putting his hand in the dirt going up against like... He needs space to operate. And when
so you're saying he's like a 3-4 outside linebacker almost.
Donovan Izaraku's, I think, has to play in a 3-4. I don't see him functioning in a 4-3. Of course, I could be wrong.
I agree.
I think James Pierce kind of would fit better as a 3-4. I think he can go 4-3, but I think he'd be better suited in a 3-4. Whereas for Nick Scorin, he can go either way. So
gotcha. I'm
just higher on Nick Scorin than both those guys. So I'm going to take Nick Scorin here if it's my pick, and I'm also seeing that they have meetings with them at the combine, and they seem to be at least some interest there. So I like the pick.
Nick Scorin's a badass player. Ideally,
totally.
He's got versatility.
20 years old. How young was he his first year at? I think it was Purdue.
He's like literally 18.
Bro. Demon. and then the next year after that in 2023, just at 19 years of age, fucking 8 sacks, 28 hurries, was just murdering dudes. And then he went to A&M, and of course the Aggies stink it up because they always do. This dude was still producing, and he was still cooking out there. It just wasn't turning into sacks. So, I like the pick of Nick Scorin. It's either Nick Scorin or Shamar Stewart to me, and I think they need proven productivity. And I still think this guy has a really high ceiling. So,
totally agree, man. Let's go Nick Scorin here. Great call out, and I'm glad you're aligned too because I was teasing it, but I'm like, that's my bias goggles. But if you're biased too, then we're biased together, and it's right.
Damn right.
8, we have the Seahawks, and the Seahawks.
It's gotta be O-line.
It's gotta be O-line. Like they are doo-doo in the middle of their O-line, and now I'm asking. Last time I looked, because I try to like look into the rosters too and see, could you kick in a tackle if you like to tackle prospect? If I remember correctly, your tackle prospects are way too tall and way too long to be kicked into center or guard. And with that being said, I think you're really looking at googly eyes with Gray Zabel, but want to confirm with my Adam Schefter here in Metro Sports.
Man, I just think Kellen Banks is so much better. But
Agreed.
I talked about it. I don't think he should move inside to play guard. I think he should stick to tackle. But I just think
contracts
that
run out soon?
No, Cross, he's going to get paid, or maybe he already has been paid. Abraham Lucas is the really interesting one because he is constantly injured.
Yeah.
And so you could hypothetically put Banks at right tackle or kick him inside to play guard. But I also think you can do the same thing with Gray Zabel. So I don't know. I've heard more about Zabel there, but I think that's just more because Banks is typically not available. So it's a toss-up, in my opinion.
Here's my take, okay, Metro? And I'm going to get cooked for this, but I don't really mind. That's why I'm on the air. I got to get bad opinions. Got to say bad shit, too, so y'all hate me as well. Can't be all nice on this channel. Gray Zabel is a really dope player. He had a good Senior Bowl, good keyword, and he was voted by scouts as the most dominant player out of everybody at the Senior Bowl. Call him the outlier. I think he had a very good week. I didn't see elite play in my eyes, and that maybe I'm dumb. That's okay. I don't mind taking that. I'd rather have Kelvin Banks Jr. as a guard than Gray Zabel as a guard, strictly because of the competition they both faced. Gray Zabel, yes, he did good at the Senior Bowl. He had a good week. I respect the hell out of it. Kelvin Banks has been through the ringer. He played in the SEC against some really good teams and went into the playoffs. I personally feel better there and also a long-term plan at tackle if you want it. But I didn't say you like the opinion. I just said I'd say it. Metro, where do you want to go? I'm going to let you have this final pick because you see how conflicted I am.
Yeah, they are a team with their new offensive coordinator. He's going to do a lot of outside zone. Texas did a number of that too. Obviously, Gray Zabel can also do it.
Totally do that.
It's tough. I would take Banks, and just because I think he's the higher upside guy. Like, I think Banks will be in the league for 8+ years, be unbelievably solid, might make a Pro Bowl here and there. I think Zabel will also be really good too, and also has good versatility. But I'm just a little bit higher on Banks here, so I think if you're aligned, I'll take Banks here.
Buys together is a magical thing. Let's go, Kelvin Banks. Got my Texas hat on too. I'm Metro for Halloween, as you can see today. I got my Texas hat on. Run it up.
Go.
Welcome, baby. Let's take Kelvin Banks right here, and we're gonna kick him into guard. And someday he'll be an awesome tackle on our team. Bucks 19. Every time I get here, I actually put money on this too. I feel like Jahad Campbell's the biggest lock at 19 if he slides here for some reason. And
yeah, if it's not, it's Donovan Ezaraku.
Donovan Ezaraku, totally. I think Donovan Ezaraku is a lock too. I will interest you. Jahdae Barron's gone down the board. Are you getting rumors over there, Shefty, that he's having bad experiences with teams, or what is it?
No, Jahdae Barron's fine. I just think that PFF has him a little bit ranked too high. He's probably more about he's going to be taken somewhere between 13, maybe 12 earliest to Dallas to about 30. He's not going to go top 15, or top 10, I should say. I just think, yes, they did some work in the offseason in the edge rushing room, but they run a 3-4. It's the perfect spot for Donovan Ezaraku to succeed. If you take Jahdae Barron, you're going to put him inside in the slot, probably, and then move Tyke Smith back to safety. But I just think that Tyke is an awesome player, wherever you want to put him. So I just think just beef up the edge rushing room, and then round 2, take Carson Schwessinger.
Awesome. And just to clarify, you want Donovan over Shamar Stewart production-wise, 10,000% the move. Upside-wise, that's the argument.
Well, I just think Shamar wouldn't make a ton of sense because they already have – oh, my God, I'm a blank on his name. Buccaneers are one of those teams that just have so many good players that you just forget their name for no reason.
They do. Good roster.
Kalijah Cansey. That would be essentially the role that he would play. Now, yes, you can put him opposite of Kalijah to replace Logan Hall or anybody like that. But right now, I'd rather have Donovan Ezaraku over Hassan Reddick or Yaya Diaby and Chris Boswell, who didn't really show it too much. So I'll stick with Donovan Ezaraku, who I've heard a lot about there. So
done. Welcome. You are a Buck. 20 Metro. Shedeur Sanders is on the board, and I feel like he's going to be drafted by Pittsburgh, just like Kenny Pickett was. He gets slid to, and they take him there in the back of the 20s. But if someone wants to trade up from the second round, the time is now. Do we want to have a trade up?
The thing about the Steelers is they're so interesting. I heard that Tomlin loved Shedeur, and then I heard that they had a meeting, and then I heard the meeting went terribly. And so I was like, well, what the hell are we doing here, dude? So I'm just like, I got to be honest with you. I'm 50-50 on whether they take Shedeur Sanders or not. I think if he falls to them at 21, they would consider, because I don't know what's going on with Rodgers. If you're telling me is Rodgers coming or not, I don't think he is. Because every time I hear him talk, it's like, oh, man, I'm enjoying retirement. I'm enjoying time at home. I haven't committed to anything yet. And it's like, dog, could you just give us a clue here? We're 3 fucking days to the draft. So I've heard nothing on that. And frankly, I don't know if we're going to get an answer from Rodgers until post-draft, which is going to screw over the Steelers. And I don't think the Steelers are going to let that happen. I think that they would have to put their foot down at some point. A team would trade up to get him. I think it's more likely a team would trade up for Shedeur if he falls past 21. So I think
that's right. I agree.
Let's run these next 2 picks, and then once we get a little bit further down the board, we can start to consider a pick.
Okay, sounds good. Also, I do want to clarify. You said you heard rumors that Mike Tomlin adores Shedeur, and then they also had a bad team meeting. I will tell you from personal experience, when I was my glory days, my 2 months on the team with the Michigan State Spartans, I played with Cam Hayward. I think I completely got that wrong. I did not play with Cam Hayward. I played with his brother. And I can't look at his. This is bugging me.
What?
Connor Hayward. My goodness.
Connor Hayward. There you go.
Forget that. Connor Hayward, the fullback, running back, tight end, everything. Anyways, Connor Hayward he didn't tell me. He was talking to me. He's talking to like 5 of us. He's like, dude, Tomlin loves Pickett. Like, saw him play, and he's like, I'm getting him no matter what. It's happening. I trust the Mike Tomlin's thing that he likes Shedeur. I think the story that they had a bad meeting is complete bullshit. They are trying to throw people off their scent.
It very well could be. I don't know. I'm so conflicted because I could easily see them taking Shedeur, but then at the same time, I could see them passing on him. And it doesn't seem like Steelers fans really want him either. But then I'm like, okay, who's going to play quarterback for you guys then?
You want to take the next step?
Like, dog, do you want fucking Will Levis to be your starter? Like, you got to make a decision, big dog.
The
Like
time
Shador
is now.
Sanders is a pretty damn good quarterback. Like I don't understand the hate for him, and I think that he'd be in a decent spot there.
I
don't
totally
know.
agree, dude. Maybe
Again,
we just pick when we get there. We're talking a
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
about Shador right now. You want to give it a second?
I'll look up some stuff here if you want to do your pick for the Broncos.
Yeah, my pick for the Broncos. We've had a lot of sliders, okay? They can go running back on Amari Hampton, which would be awesome, especially for fantasy. That'd be so much fun. Wide receiver, you got all the options in the world. It's a candy shop. You got Luther Burden III, Amika Egbuka, Matthew Golden. These guys are all in range. Are any of them sexier, though, than Amari and Hampton is the question. Now, you could also go like a center prospect. You're not taking a center right here. Or an interior D lineman, which just for reference, we're looking at like a Omar Norman Lott. I don't think we're going to go there. I think it'd be more like Tyleek Williams or Derek Harmon on actual draft day. So in my eyes, it's Derek Harmon, a wide receiver, or Amari and Hampton. Of course, at the expense of Metro's awesome opinion. Metro, I'm leaning Amari and Hampton for the funsies of the Broncos, and I think it just fits really well. He's a special prospect. He's built well, really quick, great contact balance. He can catch and do everything.
Yeah,
I lean Amarian. Where do you want to go?
That's the pick. Yeah, Amari and Hampton. It's either Hampton or Matthew Golden, but Hampton's a better player, in my
Punch
opinion.
it in. Here we are. We were just arguing over Shador Sanders at 21 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and let's do it again.
Shit makes no sense, dog. It's like, so I get a report maybe about a week ago. Tomlin loves Shador. 5 days later, where's it at? Pittsburgh Steelers visit with Shador Sanders went poorly. Insider says that meeting did not go well. Literally 2 days later, Bleacher Report puts out Steelers reportedly have some love for Shador Sanders, and they have a first-round grade on fucking Jackson Dart. Like, what are we doing here, dude? The Steelers are in absolute hell. I could not imagine being a Steelers fan. I think the pick will be Shador because I'll take your words here about Tomlin being in love with certain guys. I don't think that they can go without drafting a quarterback rounds 1 or 2.
They can't. They have Mason Rudolph. And what?
If they don't take a quarterback, I'm genuinely serious. I think they would actually make a play for Will Levis.
You are 100% right. Oh, they would have to.
They would have to. It's either that or Mason Rudolph.
So let me ask you this, Steelers fans. I like Shador. He waits too long in the pocket. Do you want Shador or do you want Will Levis? Because we saw how Will Levis went. That's your choices. And yes, it's 21 on another guy. But when it comes to that, for me, it's Shador Sanders, no question. And Mike Tomlin is not a good poker player. Yes, he's very straight-faced at the podium. When he likes a player, he gets his guy. He's already announced he liked the player. Now he's like, his PR team's like, what the hell are you doing, dude? We got to cover this up now. They're releasing shit every day. Now they got Metro confused, and he's really sad about this.
Dude, I'm hearing that they love Jalen Milroe, but I'm like, dog.
Okay, why is Jalen Milroe going to draft day?
That's what I'm thinking too. Hey, I saw that report and I was like, "Are you serious?"
That's insane. That's like they wouldn't mess with that just for TV, right? Unless they're just sickos and want to do that. But like, if
that's
someone
what they're
goes,
probably doing it for. They're doing it for. I would hope if somebody spends a first round pick on Jalen Milroe, man,
they wouldn't do even like I think of Brian Branch, right? He was the last guy. He went pretty fast on day 2. I don't feel like Milroe's going fast on day 2.
I think he might. I think there's going to be some desperate teams. The Browns, I think, would do it. I could see them doing it, although I don't think they should.
Yeah.
Man, the thing is, too, about the whole Milroe thing is the NFL is not going to put you in the room if they don't think you have a chance.
That's true.
Because they are only inviting, 15 players this year?
Yeah.
And I don't think Shador's even going this year, by the way. I think that's just because he doesn't want to go. But, dog, if Jalen Milroe gets taken top 20.
Crazy. Earth-shattering. Absolutely earth-shattering. I will...
It's going to actually kind of take me off a little bit because he's not worthy of a top... I have him... He's not even in my top 75. He wasn't in your top 75. Or he was very late into your top 75.
He barely made it. He was like 70 for me. Like, he's got the upside, but, man, it's a yellow brick road to get there. It's going to be a minute.
We're on a tangent here. What do you think? Do you think Shador's a pick?
Yeah, Shador's the pick. With all that being said, 15 minutes later, Shador's the pick. We good with that?
Yeah. I'm not good with it, but I think it is going to be the pick.
Shador's the pick. We're trying to predict here. Good stuff.
That's
22. 22, we have the Chargers, and we got a lot of good players here.
Some good corners still on the board.
Really, really good corners. And Green Bay is just licking their chops. Does anybody want to trade up to get one? Like, you think the Vikings would jump Green Bay to get a corner of their choice?
They could, but they also might be in a spot where they'll be fine with either Will or Jade.
True, very true.
So they might be just. I mean, I'm looking at the Rams right now,
That's what I'm thinking too. Actually, good point.
and I'm saying, hey, if you can't get Ramsey, because I've heard they're in the Ramsey sweepstakes. But do you think the Chargers would trade back if they know that they can just snag Colston Loveland?
I truly think personally that Colston Loveland is not the pick at 22. I think they go. I think they go interior on the D line before they go in a weapon. That's just the Jim Harbaugh way. And I know he's got the Michigan M. I don't really give a shit. Like, this is the Jim Harbaugh way. He suffocates you like a python in the trenches, and that's how he wins.
That Michigan M is just it's like a magnet, dog. You know he's thinking
Colin.
about it.
He left him. He left him, Metro. He left him
right.
for brighter pastures.
You're right. And they were terrible last year. Well, actually, they kind of figured it out towards the end. Man.
Do you want to do the trade with the Rams?
Yeah, let's do a trade. Let's make this simple. Rams, they would love Will Johnson. Like, they would turn him into a star. It wouldn't cost too much.
101?
227. 4 picks. Yeah, 4. Actually, oh, well, fuck it. Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah, Will Johnson's the pick here. I think Jahdae Barron is definitely intriguing, but they need a CB1. And Will Johnson, for all his flaws, you cannot deny the 23 tape. And you just got to pray and hope that he is not 4-6 slow on the football field.
That's right. That's exactly right. Let him play with his eyes on the quarterback. You're going to be just fine.
Yep. So,
Awesome.
Green Bay. What are you
Green
thinking
Bay.
here?
I'm thinking Jahdae Barron. I'm thinking, dude, Shamar Stewart's still on the board, which I think is crazy. But I know they just got Van Ness, right? And they don't like to go back on their picks when they make one because they think they're geniuses. So
I think Jahdae Barron would be fantastic here.
I think so too, and it pisses me off because he's going to be so good on this damn team.
Yeah, he can play in multiple positions. You just don't know what happens with Jair Alexander. He can play. I mean, the versatility would be so unique. You even put him out there with safety with McKinney. Probably don't need to do it because you have some good safeties, but
He could.
you could though. If some injuries happen, you can just throw him out there. It's just. I'm glad we got them off the board. It was just like, okay, these guys got to go eventually. So I love the pick there for the Packers. If they take Jahdae Barron, nasty work.
Awesome stuff. Vikings. Every time we get to the Vikings pick, at least in my recent history, I'm like, wow, they have so many options. They have Amari and Hampton on the board. They have a bunch of cornerbacks I really like. They have Walter Nolan still there. These things have changed. Their typical guys I like to throw their way are gone. I'm going to let you take the wheel. Anybody you're eyeing here for the Vikings?
I don't think they would do it, but do you think the Chiefs would trade up for Colston Loveland to be the future replacement for Kelsey? I don't think they would, because I think they might feel okay about who they already have on the roster. But who's Eagles? No, dude, the Eagles would 100% take Colston Loveland. They're like, It seems like every day they're like, oh man, let's get Dallas Goedert out of here. They would 1,000% do Colston Loveland. I know they have other issues, but like I said, they would if they could. And by the way, Minnesota should want to trade down. Look at those picks.
Look at the picks. 97. That's what I was trying to say.
Well, they only have 4 picks too. They need more picks.
I can't count. I didn't even see that part. I just saw the jump. Saw the jump to 97. I was like, shit, that's not good.
That's not good. So, who would be right after them at 33? Giants. Dude, the Giants. Who did the Giants take in round 1 earlier? They took
the Giants trade back, and the Giants got Walter Nolan. Very
Walter
interesting.
Nolan.
Never done that before. I'm glad we did it though.
Do you think they would trade? Do you think they would trade up for Milroe?
If we're trying to predict, I can't do that in good heart. You can't do it either.
I can. I can do it in good heart. I've done predictive mock drafts where I have Tyler Schott going in the second round, and I'm just like, I can't do it, but I have to. It's going to happen.
There's
Dude,
just
Milroe
no way.
I mean, okay, if you're the Giants, you have pick 34. You're right after the Browns. The Browns are going to take a quarterback. I feel so confident that's going to happen. But they might take Jackson Dart. But maybe the Giants are in love with Dart and want to jump him to get Dart. And it would make sense for the Vikings.
If the Giants are trading up, and I mean this wholeheartedly,
they're desperate, dog. They are desperate.
They are
2 second-round picks, too, by the way. They have multiple picks because we traded back.
If the Giants are trading up, I'm taking Josh Simmons. And that sounds extremely dumb. I need to score points. And he can play right tackle.
But they need a quarterback. You can't go with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston.
But you can. You totally can.
Dude, they're gonna get fired.
I feel
they're gonna get
light
fired.
years- let's be honest. We've seen the writing on the wall since Christmas, man. They are getting canned. Mara is already pissed off. There's no saving grace. I feel better about those two at quarterback than Milroe stepping into that hellhole. There's just no way.
I think, but the Giants are in a situation where, okay,
You
if
wouldn't
we
go
played
Dart?
I wouldn't, but I think they would. Like
I
that's
think
if
Dart's
we're
more
put-
likely than Milroe is my point.
Well, if they trade up, it's for Dart. It wouldn't be for Milroe.
Okay,
Well,
I was trying to talk you off that ledge.
But Milroe as at the draft, and Dart isn't.
Maybe you're on to something, brother.
I'm just
Maybe
thinking,
you're onto
okay,
something.
with the way the board is, nobody left over is taking a quarterback. But if you're the Giants, you need to jump over the Browns and any team below them that might be trying to trade up for a quarterback. Could they stay put and take one of Milroe or Dart? Yes. But they might feel so much better about Dart than Milroe that they say, we got to trade up for Dart.
You know what? I think you're right. This team is under excruciating pressure. Now, I don't think it's Milroe. I cannot click Milroe at 24. I can't. If you tell me to do it, put a gun in my head, I won't do it. You got to pull the trigger. With that being said, if you want to go Dart here, because the Vikings are a strong trade back candidate, and also the Giants just got more capital, we can make that move.
But okay, I'm going to go back my word here a little bit. Are we calling the Giants dummies?
Hell yeah. Of course we are.
How
are they not?
I feel bad. Like I don't want to take this pick. It's like it's pissing me off, but I feel like they have to.
I root for Brian, man. I root for Brian. I root for even Joe Shane. Like on that show,
I
I'm like,
do.
oh, he's a good guy. He's a dad. You know what I mean? He's
100%.
He cares. He let go of Saquon, and he took Malik Neighbors. Awesome pick, but just
Okay, I'm going to add to the lore here. This is a team that feels like they are making the right picks, just not making the right picks at quarterback. So they might just take the. God, this fucking sucks. I hate this. This is terrible. This is terrible. I hate this.
when we put ourselves in their seats, like our jobs in the line, this gets way more stressful like that.
Yes, this sucks. I feel for them. We should have took Shador at 11 and just called it a day. This would have made our life so much easier.
That's what I'm saying, brother. But let's keep going. Now we're in
All right.
now we're in the hole we dug ourselves in.
We are. Let's just fucking take a pick for the Vikings here. Let's just Giants fans.
There's no way we just talk for 20 minutes. We're just gonna take a Vikings pick right here. That's insane. But I think it's the right move.
Okay, the Giants could sit still at 34, I believe, and just take one of whoever.
Hell, they could take whoever they want.
All right. Good conversation, though. Giants
It
fans will
was.
appreciate it. Giants fans will enjoy it. Vikings fans probably not so much.
Vikings fans are like, come on, dog. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's been 30 minutes.
They would take an interior defensive lineman, and I think
Correct.
more ideally like a run stuffer disruptor. I like Derek Harmon here.
Approved. I'm not even going to try to argue with you. I like
Yeah.
Harmon, too. We've been talking for 30 minutes. Vikings, you want your pick? You got it, buddy. Derek Harmon, we're sending it through.
Yeah, that works for me. I like Derek Harmon there.
Awesome. Good. With that being said, we're going with Derek Harmon 24.
Ugh.
25, we have the Texans. And Emeka Buka feels like the chemistry pick and the most likely on draft day. Everything in my body says, man, take Ray Zabel. And if you feel really good about Josh Simmons because of his freakish athletic ability, take him. But, the Texans are... I think they're going to reunite the chemistry here. But what do you think is going to happen?
It's Josh Simmons or Gray Zabel for me.
Yep.
If you think Simmons can come back healthy, you take Simmons. If you're concerned about it, you take Zabel. I would lean Zabel because he can play multiple positions.
Let's do it. And that's what
And they need guard and tackle help pretty badly here. So I feel good about Zabel.
Approved. And like Metro mentioned earlier, really well-moving guard. Yes, he played at North Dakota State. Did really good at the Senior Bowl against higher competition. Moves well. Zone guard. Absolute beast. Let's take it right here to the Texans who need all the help they can get on the interior line. Chargers. You know what, Metro? This is your pick. You want to take our boy in Colson Loveland, the Michigan M?
Yeah, I'm looking at these receivers, though. There's some fallers. But I think I will take Loveland here. And we might want to consider some trade up for receivers. I don't know if that'll happen, but I'm taking Loveland here. Maybe we can explore that down the road.
Every mock draft I do, Metro, and like this is where I feel like I'm just wrong. These three always fall just because there's such dire needs, and you have to look in the mirror and you're like, "Am I the problem?" I totally could be, but they just keep falling. So, did you say you want to go Loveland? Confirm?
I'll take Loveland here because I think they might feel okay about their receivers. But Matthew Golden is very tempting here as well because you can pair McConkey on the inside, QJ as a weapon, and then Golden on the outside. But you can also maybe talk yourself into doing the same thing with Loveland. So I think they'll take Loveland here. And, of course, Michigan.
Michigan, it just makes sense. Going to the Chargers, they trade back and get Loveland, the couple all along. Baltimore's on the clock, and I'm pretty sure Shamar Stewart's going on draft day, and I know we don't love him. I get it. Dog. There's no way you have that good of a combine. You're at least not going to these next couple picks. Like, hell, he might be a lion, to be honest. And I don't think
it's between Shamar and James Pierce for me.
Totally. And like Pierce is like, he's crazy. He's like 9 on my board or something. Is he 9? I don't know, but I like his upside a bunch. I think the best prospect here is Pierce, but I also understand the play for Shamar.
I would go with Pierce just because, well, I don't know. I mean, do you think that Shamar is an upgrade over Broderick Washington? I kind of think he could be.
I think either of these guys are.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Van Noy is a superstar, but he's 34. He had 12.5 sacks last year, but he's 34. Adafe Owe is still here. He had 10 sacks last year.
How big is one more time you said
Broderick Washington, 2 sacks last year. He's still really young. He's a 5th-round pick, but only 6 sacks to his career back from 2020.
Is he a heavy fella?
Yeah, 6'2", 315.
So they're looking at Shamar with that. If you're trying to replace him.
Yeah, I would go Shamar, actually. Yeah, because they might go for the higher upside guy with some potential to really develop next to Matabike, and he has versatility through the roof. So, yeah, I like Shamar Stewart there. Of course, my bias is telling me Braden Swinson, but we'll take Shamar.
My bias is leaning there too, but Shamar Stewart, freakish combine, didn't produce.
Anytime I do a mock draft and I just scroll past Swinson's name, it's like a little devil on my shoulder saying, "Just take me, dog. Just take me." And I'm like, "No, I can't. It's not going to happen. I want to."
Sometimes you gotta let the voices win.
If Braden Swinson goes round 1, I'm going out drinking. I'm celebrating.
What are the odds on that? Do you know? For him to be a first round pick? You gotta be on FanDuel.
Probably not very high. Let me look here. You talk about
him
while I look this up.
Shamar Stewart, as we all know, had an amazing combine. I mean, amazing, brother. He ran, jumped. Everything he did was at the highest level, 99 percentile. It also helps that he's 6'6", a lengthy edge player, and 290. Now, when you look at his tape, because that's the big... We could talk numbers all day. Numbers are bullshit, right? It's when it comes down to tape and what you see with your bias with your eyes. That's what matters. The bias for me, he was disrupting like crazy. And then there's times where he gets handled by some really good tackles because he's not refined. He didn't have very good coaching. I'm going to take the stance that Nick Scordon and Shamar Stewart weren't coached at a super high level. And in the NFL, if they go to a good team like the Baltimore Ravens, they will find success. Keyword, good team. There's like 6 of those guys. If anyone's going to work with Shamar Stewart, it's going to be the Baltimore Ravens. So I like the pick here, and your place is Broderick. Good Lord. Very well. Because he's a
I'm
player.
seeing odds are likely he's a 2nd-round pick, which sucks.
Okay. I was just thinking, like, is there like a plus 2,000?
No, I couldn't find anything, but everything I was reading was 2nd round.
Gotcha. You good here to lock in Shamar Stewart to Baltimore?
Yeah, let's lock it in.
Awesome. Detroit Lions. We are on the clock. Talk to me.
They would take receiver.
That's the thing. Every time I get here, there's so many good wide receivers because you got your boy JMO, the speedster. Okay, that kind of rules out Matthew Golden in my eyes. Maybe not exactly. You got your slot guy in Amon Ra.
Yeah, I was actually leaning Golden because he can play opposite of Amon Ra. Luther Burden's interesting too, but do you think they would take those guys over edge rusher? Probably not.
I don't think you take him over James Pierce Jr. And he, yes, apparently has got attitude issues. He would work in Detroit. They have a very good culture. It's hard to be an asshole when everybody's so nice. And they got a good thing going on over there. If anyone can mold, sometimes it's not always someone's an asshole. It's the environment they're in isn't good, and there's other bad people in there. When you bring them into a good environment that encourages competitiveness, you can flourish. And I think that's what Detroit is. They're not like all sweet peas, right? They all get after it. I think James Pierce Jr. could really succeed in this role. Him and Aiden Hutchinson would be freaking sweet off the edge.
Yeah, I like it.
Cool.
I can take James Pierce there. I do worry about the character concerns and if they would actually take him because of it. But if they had good meetings and believe that he can work out, I think it'd be fine.
Totally. Let's load him up here to the Detroit Lions. 29, Commanders. Commanders, if we want to make, everyone's like, how many running backs are going in the first round? This is our last stop because no one's trading up for a running back. I'm just going to tell you that right now. There's just too much depth in this class. If one's going to go, it's probably going to be Travion, Quinshawn, or Caleb Johnson. Cam Scatterbo is awesome, but I don't think he's going at 29. And then also, go ahead.
Could you pull up the edge rushers real quick?
My pleasure, sir. Braden Swinson, the man, the myth, the legend.
They need edge badly. Like, badly. It's Cleveland Farrell, Dorrance Armstrong, and Deatrice Wise. Whew. They need that bad. But there's nothing here on the board for them. I would love Braden Swinson. I don't think that's the pick.
Do you think no, because they wouldn't take a tackle. The Chiefs are going to sit here nicely and get Josh Simmons or Connerly. Absolutely cook.
They could go offensive lineman because they need a guard because Sam Cosmi's injured, but they might feel okay about sticking Brandon Coleman inside. I don't think they would do that. It's got to be edge rusher or corner or receiver for me. Running back's interesting too, but they might be able to wait till round 2 for that. So, yeah, I would lean receiver with who's on the board. No, I can't take Swinson. I want to. I so badly want to. Let me see. Is there anything on Swinson here?
Yeah, let's get some rumors going. Let's talk ourselves into this. Get the bias moving. Who needs a wide receiver? Because if
Commanders could. The Commanders could definitely use one.
Could they for sure?
Yeah, because you have Terry McLaurin on the outside, Deebo Samuel, who knows what you're getting from him.
Yeah.
They have some good depth here, though, with Noah Brown. We'll see what Michael Gallup looks like coming back from retirement. Luke McCaffrey, KJ Osborne. Yeah, he retired. He came back. I think, man, I would love Luther Burden on this team. Him with Jaden Daniels would be nasty work. But Matthew Golden, too. I feel like the NFL's higher on Matthew Golden.
Yes, they are.
So,
without a doubt.
But I like Burden a bit more for this team because of his versatility.
Is there... So we're going to lock in a team here, okay? I'm talking about here in the second round, which we're not doing. Is there a team like the Patriots who trade up into the first and nab a wide receiver from the second round, maybe at this next pick with the Bills?
It's very possible. I don't
think it's here, though.
Maybe.
If they want an edge, I think you make that play because you get Braden Swinson in the second round, right? That's the only argument.
Well, I'm thinking if you're the Commanders, is there a player that you feel confident will fall to you in the second round if you were to trade down or Buffalo or Kansas City? And I just think that they would probably not risk those odds and just take the player on the board. So I would stick and pick here. And I'll let you decide between the 3 receivers if that's what you want to go down. I'm fine with legitimately any of those guys.
Okay. I think Luther Burden pairs really well.
Perfect.
Now,
Yeah.
Luther Burden is a lot like Debo. But, guys, Debo, those guys run out of tread. How about you learn from Debo himself? I think it's a good pairing, a good mentorship. You want to do it right here?
Yeah, and I think the versatility would be super fun with Debo and Luther and Terry. And, man, I just think at this stage of his career, like, maybe Debo can do some stuff still, but I think he's much more better suited at this stage of his career of just being a weapon. Like, hey, go take this gadget play, 15 yards, and have some fun. But I don't really see him doing a whole bunch of like deep route running. So I like any of the receivers. I feel totally fine with.
Sweet. Let's do it. Let's take Luther Burden here at 29. 30, we have the Bills. And let's do a quick board check because I like to do this. Potential sliders, Josh Simmons sliding. Amika Igbuka is down here. Golden is sliding. And obviously they're the top 3 on the board. And then who else we got going here? We have guys like – those are the really big sliders. after reviewing. Everyone else, pretty fair game. What do you want to do here, Metro? Is there anybody that would kill for one of these three players that would trade up? But you said you probably get a stick and pick. What are your thoughts?
Buffalo could use a receiver too.
I've had them take a receiver right here in these drafts. I think Matthew Golden pairs.
I'm usually in a spot in these mock drafts where Golden's off the board and I'm picking like Burden and Mecca might still be available, and I usually pass on them. Golden would make some sense because scroll down a little bit with the players. There isn't anyone who I'm like in love with. They could go safety, but I think it's a pretty relatively safe or deep safety class that you could probably take one round 2. And
you got 56. You're right.
Yeah, and there's not an edge rusher who I feel great. Maybe Landon Jackson comes in round 1, but I don't see it. Interior defensive line, maybe you go with a Tyreek Williams, but it doesn't feel rich. I feel fine taking him there. I just kind of feel like, man, with these receivers that are on the board, you have Khalil Shakir, plays a bit more in the slot. Keon Coleman could be your 50-50 ball winner deep.
Yep.
But then outside of that, Curtis Samuel didn't do too much last year. Joshua Palmer is a good player, but I think you can find a replacement.
I think the best opposite player of that is Matthew Golden.
I think Matthew Golden could do some things that Amari Cooper was hypothetically supposed to do last year, so I have no issue with it.
Shout out Amari Cooper.
Yeah, shout out to him. Cowboys legend, he was terrible for the Bills.
Cowboys legend Amari Cooper is going to hand this over to Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden gets open at a high rate, and also he catches the football, whether it's high, low, sideline, tracking. He does it all. Awesome football player. What'd you say?
Great route runner.
Electric, and that is what matters in the game of football, especially as a wide receiver. So let's take him right here to 30 to the Bills, 2 back-to-back wide receivers just because the value is too damn good. And here we are at 31. They cooked. Do you want Josh Simmons in the upside because that's Romley, or do you want Josh Connolly because I know he's healthy?
I'm taking Simmons, and if he needs to be on the bench for a year and develop, works totally fine. If he needs to play immediately, then whatever works. I'm taking Josh Simmons. He is just too good to be falling down the board. So,
Chiefs absolutely cooked. 32. Here we go. Man. Philadelphia. Do we have anybody trading up into the first round to end this draft with the dart, with the Milrow? Is this the pick? Because this would be it. Every time I get here, Philly doesn't need this pick, right? They just don't. They can go back a couple picks and collect more capital. Do you want somebody to do that and get a fifth year deal on the contract? What are you thinking?
Oh, that's a good point. You do get that additional year.
That's the big thing.
Well, they wouldn't trade with the Giants because they wouldn't want to help them.
Correct.
You're not trading with the Browns because they're literally the next pick. Who would be next afterwards? Let me pull up. Let me look real quick. Give me 2 seconds.
Thank you, sir. It's probably going to be Patriots.
So Tennessee has Cam. Raiders probably not. Saints? Hey now.
Hey now.
They need a quarterback. Jackson Dart.
And Dart's going to the draft?
I don't think so, but hey, he can take the phone call from home.
I mean, if you're game, I'm game. Because Kellen Moore's your head coach now, correct? He's the offensive guy.
Yeah, I'm game for it. And then, so we don't screw over Eagles fans, I'll give them who I think they will take afterwards. Okay. So let's run it. I think Eagles, Saints. Now, Saints have 40, so they're moving up 8 spots into the first round. But it wouldn't cost too much. It would be 112, maybe, no, a little bit less than that. 131.
31? Game for that?
Yeah, because it's moving up. Well, maybe it might be. Screw, who cares? Doesn't matter. 112, 131, doesn't matter. We'll just run it.
Here we go. Saints in the clock. And now I will let you announce, Metro, before we take the pick, who the Eagles are going to take so they don't feel sad.
Yeah. Eagles, scroll down the board a little bit. If Emeka Egbuka falls, they'll take him. I would say Nicky Monwari would be the pick in the second round.
Yeah.
If he falls there, if not, Donovan Jackson. There's a number of different players, but if I said definitively which player, I'm gonna go with Nicky Monwari.
Awesome. I mean, 6'3", y'all know about him. 227, had an amazing combine. I talked about Shamar Stewart's combine. Nicky Monwari's was even more fun. Just Eagles stacking defensive talent. What's new? And then back to the Saints. Unless you got anything else for the Eagles fans out there.
In terms of Nicky Monwari, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I know Eagles fans love the guy because they think his versatility can just do numbers for them, and it could. So I think that would be a fun pick for the Eagles, especially in round 2. I feel a bit more comfortable about it.
Hell yeah. Good stuff, Eagles. Win-win right there. Saints in the clock, and the Saints are taking Riley Leonard at third. No, we're thinking either Milroe or Dart, and I lean Dart for sure, but Milroe's going to draft day, and we're trying to predict here. Metro, you have the final pick, and we're not doing a coin flip. Which quarterback is going here at 32?
This is interesting because, okay, Kellen Moore coming off coaching Jalen Hurts, Jackson Dart. I've heard some people say he's a lot like Hurts, but Milroe, his athleticism reminds me of Hurts a little bit too, especially with how raw he was coming out of college. Honestly,
he can sit behind Carr.
Well, if Carr plays, that's the question.
This is true.
I am higher on Dart than I am Milroe just because I think Milroe is just an absolute, that's a risk. I feel better about taking Will Howard here, frankly, because I just know, hey, I'm getting a guy who can play. I don't know if Milroe can play, dog. But I think the league is higher on, I don't know. I think the league, they've been higher on Dart throughout the process, but it feels like recently there's been a wave of momentum towards Milroe.
And that right there tells me it's Dart 1,000%.
I was literally going to say the exact same thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead. I'm literally going to say the same thing.
The NFL, you get waves of hype and quiet, and teams announce things or they give it to sources when they want it to be known. When it gets quiet on a player before the draft, there's a reason. There's a reason because of that. It's because they're damn good and they want them. So with that being said, like Metro said, kind of took the words out of his mouth. Jackson Dart is going to be the pick here if you're game. Now let's talk about what the path is for Dart. Dart, really good quarterback, 6'2", 225, can make a lot of good throws. Not an unreal arm, but an above average one. Now, Dart played in the Ole Miss offense. We got some shit to do. We got some stuff to learn. It's going to take a minute. You can learn behind Carr and in Kellen Moore's offense. This is a good system for him to learn over time, but there is at least a year of development, and that is A-okay, because if you're here to find it, it's going to be on this team. Dart. Metro, do you have anything else to say about Jackson Dart?
Yeah, I'm very low on Dart, but it feels like the league's very high on him, so I'm going to conform a little bit here. I think Dart is a solid player, brings some good things to the plate. The good thing about this one is even if Carr can't go, you can rock with Spencer Rattler for a few days, few games. If Carr can go, perfect, then Dart can sit behind both those guys for a little bit. It would be interesting to see if Dart would become the starter at some point. I tend to lean that he would at some point, probably late in the season. But I think that if you give Kellen Moore as quarterback of the future, and by the way, the Saints, I think they would benefit from having a young quarterback just because this team needs direction. And at least getting Dart would give them a direction in some ways. I mean, I'd rather have, even though I don't like Dart, I'd rather have Dart at this stage than I would with Derek Carr. Even though Carr's a better player, it's just that if I'm getting Derek Carr, my team's going to be so unbelievably mid. At least with Jackson Dart, I have a chance to be good or be horrendously bad, which is great because I get the number one pick.
Awesome. Couldn't have said it better. Jackson Dart is a Saint, and, of course, the Eagles got Nick Eamon-Warry. Here we go.
What a wild mock draft this was.
Dude, we were trying to, let me blow this up. We were trying to make it predictive and, really cookie cutter. Man, this shit got wild real quick.
I think we did a decent job. Obviously, trades are so hard to predict that we're just doing our best. Yeah. But I still think there's a lot of value that came from this in terms of and just beyond what the players we took, you can sort of see the process that we had to take with a number of these picks. Just do we do this? Do we do this? This is what these GMs are doing every day when they get to the office. It's like, hey, is this guy going to fall to us? Can I get this guy? Should I trade down? This is their debates, conversations that they're having behind the scenes every single day. So pretty fun experiment. Do you want to give a quick recap of everything?
Would absolutely love to. Here we go. 1, we have the Tennessee Titans taking Cam Ward, the quarterback. 2, the Browns taking Travis Hunter, the two-way playmaker. 3, rare trade, we have the San Francisco 49ers trading up from 11 all the way to 3 and getting Bosa to pair up with Abdul Carter. Awesome stuff right there. 4, Patriots take Will Campbell, the tackle / interior lineman. 5, the Bears say, you know what, to hell with it. We want Ashton Genty, and we're going to go get him. We like line. We like the taste of line. We want more line. Let's make it happen. The Bears go up to 5. I hope you understood that reference. The Bears go up to 5 and take Ashton Genty, the running back. 6, we have the Raiders taking Mason Graham, the interior D lineman. 7, we have the Jets taking Amon Mambu, the right tackle. 8, this is where The Jags traded back to 10 with the Bears, and then traded back up to 8 with the Panthers because the Panthers are apparently wanting to trade back on draft day. We coin flipped for this. They get Tyler Warren. It was him or Tedero McMillan. They take Tyler Warren, the tight end, to pair up with Brian Thomas Jr. 9, the Saints taking Mykel Williams. 10, we have the Panthers taking Jalen Walker because they flew out on a private jet to go see this guy. Money talks. Send him to the team. Send him to the Panthers. 11, this is where the Giants traded back from 3, and they're going to get Walter Nolan. We want to go offense here because they need to score points next year or they're all canned. But Walter Nolan was just the best value on the board with the most upside, and it'll be a nasty pair up with Dexter Lawrence. At 12, we have the Cowboys. Tedero McMillan goes right there. 13, the Dolphins go Malachi Starks. 14, the Colts go Jahad Campbell. Lock, according to my source, Metro, a.k.a. Adam Schefter. 15, the Falcons take Mike Green. 16, the Cardinals go Kenneth Grant. 17, the Bengals go Nick Scorton. 18, we have the Seahawks going Kelvin Banks Jr. Rare slide right there. 19, the Bucks having Donovan Ezeraku, awesome edge rusher. 20, we have the Broncos going Amari Hampton. 21, Mike Tomlin likes his quarterback. He's going to take your boy in Shador Sanders. 22, we have the LA Rams trading up from 26 to get Will Johnson, their new cornerback 1. 23, the Green Bay Packers getting Jahdae Barron. 24, the Vikings taking Derek Harmon. 25, Texans going Ray Zabel. They got to help that interior line badly. 26, the Chargers trade back and get the Michigan M guy that won it all along, and Colston Loveland, the tight end. 27, Shamar Stewart just fits the Baltimore Ravens, and he's going to succeed on this team and find his upside there. 28, the Lions take James Pierce Jr. 29, Commanders go Luther Burden III. The value is just too good a wide receiver. Same thing for the Bills at 30. We have Matthew Golden. 31, the Chiefs are so happy they get Josh Simmons and protect their quarterback. And 32, the Saints trade up back into the first round from 40 all the way to 32 with the Eagles. The Eagles select Nick Eamon-Warrior at 40. And at 32, the Saints take Jackson Dart. Guys, this is our mock draft. Metro, do you have anything else to say before I close this out?
The Giants got screwed big time.
They played the game and they lost. Okay?
They lost because Milroe's going to be picked 33, and they're going to be forced to take Tyler Shockey. So, sorry, Giants fans. We had that 20-minute conversation just for the Giants to get fucked, bro. they got so screwed. They're going to have to take Will Howard in this situation.
They are. Luckily, they have a bunch of day 2 capital, but I don't know who's throwing the ball. Like, obviously, yeah, with that being said, we tried, Giants fans. We tried to cook something up, and you got hot dogs and SpaghettiOs, which actually it's really good. You got hot dogs and, like, cotton candy. I don't know, something nasty. Wasn't what you expected. But this is our mock draft. What did you think? This is our predictive mock draft. For every single pick we get wrong, we're taking a shot. No, we're not doing that.
No way.
Hell no. But we really tried to get this as close as we could and also had some fun with it because what's a mock draft without some fun? Thank you guys for watching. Comment what picks you liked or didn't like. What would you change? Which one of these trades you're like, oh, you know what? You're kind of cooked there. That could be real. Or what trades were you like, there's no chance in hell of that happening? Comment down below. If y'all enjoyed the video, we are brand new, so drop a like. We appreciate you very much. We also are brand new, so if you like this content and you love the NFL draft and you love NFL, college football, we bring it all to you guys. Go subscribe down below. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you more than you know. Have the best draft week. Metro will be there Thursday night, more like Friday for some draft grades in the first round, and then heading into Monday or late Sunday, we will have our full NFL draft grades with me and Metro collabing, of course, on this channel, giving you grades for every single damn team in the entire NFL draft. Letter A+ or an F-, whatever your team did, we'll let you know. Y'all have the best day. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your day and enjoy the NFL draft. Have the best day, y'all. Peace.